Hey everyone, City here, and welcome to the very first long-form video on the channel ever. Now this has been a long time coming. I promised this about a month ago, and yeah, it's finally here. And so today we are answering 20 questions sent in by you guys for 60,000 subscribers. Before we start, I do want to say two things, and that's one, if you hear this, it is because I have a script in front of me. Second thing is I am a little bit sick right now, so if my voice maybe kind of creaks a little bit here and there, that's why. But you know what? I'm not going to delay the Q&A any longer than it already has been. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, so starting with the first question from a man who really needs no introduction, because if you watch me, chances are you probably watch him. And of course, I'm talking about one of the greatest Weiss editors to really ever live, and that's JS Battles. JS Battles, I know you're probably watching this right now, dude, and we're gonna go a little off script here, and I just want to say, you're awesome, man. You're awesome. Your consistency is unmatched, your debates are unmatched, and yeah, I'm glad you're number one, man. And truly, I'm glad you're number one. But enough glazing, enough all of that. Let's skip to the actual question, and that is, what is my favorite verse? Now, this might come as a shock to some people, but it's not something like Marvel or DC or even the Monsterverse. It's actually Lord of the Rings. I have loved Lord of the Rings ever since I was a kid. I remember watching the trilogy, and it still to this day is my favorite trilogy ever to come out. And in my opinion, I do think it is the greatest trilogy to ever come out. I will say though, a close one is Dragon Ball. I do really like Dragon Ball. But yeah, on to the next question. And JS, hey, just thank you for commenting, man. This next question comes from another known Weiss editor, and that is Mr. Ponto M. And his question is this. Now, this is a meme or something in reference to a meme, and I'm not getting it. I apologize. But to answer your question, yes, I do. Especially the cheese that they put on breadsticks at Mountain Mike's. I mean, those are great. I mean, oh man, those are fantastic. But yeah, Mr. Ponto M, keep up the great edits, man. I really like your Minecraft edits, and yeah, oh, and the Big Mighty Joe edits. Those are very good. All right, next question. So the third question is actually 6 questions. Now, I did mean for everybody to do just one question per person, but I mean, hey, that's my fault for not clarifying. So you know what? It's fine. So I'll only be answering about 4 of these because the other 2 are actually coming up. Now, first one is, who is my favorite Godzilla? Now, this is going to be kind of generic, but I would say that my favorite Godzilla would probably have to be Monsterverse Godzilla. I just like everything. His design, I like the pink design. I mean, I know it's not the most loved, but I personally do like the pink design. Although, I will say, the 2014 Godzilla design is probably the best one, just objectively the best one. And I actually saw Godzilla 2014, and shortly after that, the day that I watched it when I was way younger, I actually also watched Spider-Man 2 after that, which wasn't as good, but I still had a pretty good time. Second question from Sigma TG, or Tajai, I'm sorry if I'm getting your name wrong, is, when did I start editing? I started around February of 2023. I always watched Weiss like the day that Weiss started to become popular, or even when it wasn't popular, I was watching. And I always wanted to maybe, you know, try my luck with it, but I didn't really think I was going to get anywhere. But hey, lo and behold, we did. And it's because of you guys, and thank you for that. Third one is, who is my favorite YouTuber? So I have a current favorite YouTuber and an all-time favorite YouTuber. And the current one we'll get into later, even though you guys probably know who it is. But of all time, my favorite YouTuber has to go to Jacksepticeye. He was one of the very first YouTubers I ever started watching, and till this day, I watch him, and he is just awesome. He is just really awesome. Final question is, what's the edit that took me the longest to make? Well, I don't really know which one took me the longest, but the 3-part edit that I made of King Kong versus the Indominus Rex took a very long time, and it was actually originally supposed to be all in one video, but unfortunately it got copyrighted and I had to just take it down before it could even upload, unfortunately. But yeah, thank you for your question, and yeah, moving on. Next question comes from Wolf Alstar, and their question is, who are my top 10 favorite editors? So I have a lot of favorites. I have a lot, and if I were to list them all, it would probably be, over 50 of them, but I've narrowed it down, and here they are. So number 10, shadowedits.s. Number 9, the one Lobo. He is not doing the best right now, but I still think he is a really, really good editor and has probably the best quality ever. Number 8, Shockzilla09. I mean, do I even have to explain? I mean, he is one of the first ones to ever start doing Monsterverse and Jurassic Park edits, and his editing style was really, really unique that he actually added the roars to his edits, and I think to this day he actually still does it, so that's pretty awesome. Number 7, gotta go to Grabby Edits. Now, if you like me, you will love Grabby because he does a lot of matchups like me, you know, a lot of horror, monster, all that other stuff, right? If you do not know him, go check him out. He is awesome. Number 6 has to be a tie between Robo Edits and Atomic Edits. They get compared a lot. They actually did a collab with each other that was really, really cool to see. And yeah, their editing style, their CC, it's all great. It's all great. Number 5 has to go to Killer G. Now, I know I just said Shockzilla was one of the first, but Killer G was the very first one I ever saw, and for a good time was actually my favorite editor. His edits are simple yet very, very effective, and he has some of the best music choices that I've ever seen. Number 4 has to go to Middle Trek. Now, I know he's kind of half a Weiss editor, half not now, but you know what? I think all power to him. He's doing genuinely what he enjoys, and that's awesome. I've not seen a lot of Weiss editors ever do that, actually, and yeah, very unique. And Middle Trek, if you're listening, keep it up, brother. Number 3 has to go to Zoom Goat. If I were to say that anybody has the best quality other than maybe the one Lobo, it would be him, because his edits are absolutely beautiful. The CC he puts on there, the text that he puts on there, it is beautiful. And he has a lot of takes that I actually do firmly agree with. Like, I think I honestly do sort of agree with his stance on Black Widow versus the Batman. It would be pretty tough because Batman has very, very good durability, but I think overall Black Widow would take that. Number 2 has to go to Poofin. I mean, the guy is just spectacular at editing. You know, he started from just a CapCut editor, you know, doing a lot of very simple edits, to one of the best editors on YouTube. I don't care what anybody says. I know that his views have kind of dropped and stuff like that, but you know what? He, in terms of editing, he is in his prime. And some of actually my things were actually inspired by him, actually. If you go to my older videos, they're very inspired by him. And yeah, he's just awesome. But number 1, of course, has to go to the man himself, JS Battles. I mean, what can be said about him that hasn't already been said? I mean, the man has got 140,000 subscribers and deserves a million more, deserves 10 million more. He puts a lot of work into his edits and a lot of time into his edits, and he uploads them 2 times every day. Massive respect, just massive respect. And yeah, he's my number 1. Thank you, Wolf Alstar. Next question is from IDK-G206B. I only have one question, and that is, who is your favorite supervillain? Well, honestly, I have a lot, and it's hard to just pick one, but one supervillain that I think some people seem to kind of forget about sometimes that I really like is Syndrome from The Incredibles. He has a great backstory, a great motive, an amazing hairstyle, and to top it all off, he is one of the funniest supervillains I've ever seen. So I'd say that he's definitely up there. Now, this next question is actually going to be a set of 3 questions because they all actually ask the same thing, and they are from Corey 2025, Sir Davitt, and Dr. Doomslayer. Who or what inspired you to start editing? Well, I would say what kind of kickstarted me off in editing was a long time ago when the hot debate was actually Doomslayer versus Kratos versus Dante. In that time, there was an editor named Scorpion Edits, and I really liked his videos, and they actually inspired me to start editing. And that's why if you go to my original videos, you'll see that a lot of them are Kratos, Dante, and Doomslayer. Alright, so this next question comes from His Figs, and he asks, can you make a Haya versus Shima Whis edit? So I'm pretty familiar with Shima, but not too familiar with Haya. So unfortunately, I probably can't, but you know, you never know what the future holds, and I am actually pretty big on figurines myself. So respect for liking that too, man. Alright, so this next question comes from yet another known editor, and that's Goji World 4961. And he asks, what is my favorite edit that I've made? What's my favorite sport? What's my favorite game? And do I have any other hobbies besides editing? So, my favorite game is Bloodborne. Love Bloodborne. I really like the combat and aesthetics of it, and the Orphan of Kos is still one of my favorite bosses to this day. Well, my favorite sport will probably be a tie between MMA, boxing, and basketball, but currently I am probably watching more basketball because of the NBA playoffs. And I just want to say, go Nikola Jokic. But yeah, that actually does lead me into my hobby, is that I really like playing basketball. I really like biking as well. Biking, I'm a big time biker. There's a lot of trails where I live, and I love biking them. And I would say, for the final question, I don't really have necessarily an edit that I would say is my favorite, but I will say I really like Steven Universe a lot, and I would say my Steven Universe edits are up there in terms of my favorites. So this next question is from Fred Faxbear. Love that name. And I know I just answered it, but I actually do want to expand just a little more on Bloodborne. And I want to expand in that From Software is actually my favorite gaming company ever. I've played pretty much all their games, from Dark Souls 1 to 3, from Sekiro, from Elden Ring, and I'm excited to see what they do in the future because they have already said that they've not even scratched the surface of what they want to do. So yeah, very excited for that. Next question comes from Save J the KKEKK Ara 6037. That is a big name. Who inspired you to do your first edit, and what is your opinion on thermo versus supercharged? Currently, I'm probably leaning thermo, but I can definitely see an argument for supercharged, and that's probably where I'm gonna leave it there because maybe I'll make a video about it later. Next question is from Vlad Sergey 7378, and it is, who is your favorite male and female antagonist? Now this is a really good question. I have a lot, but I would probably say for my favorite female antagonist, I would say is probably Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones. I know she is very hated, but you cannot deny that her writing is very top notch. And for my favorite male antagonist, I know I was just praising Syndrome, but I would say for an antagonist who's not really a supervillain, I would say probably Gus from Breaking Bad. And I will also add that I think he is arguably the best acted character on that show. Next question comes from Dino Collection 210, and they ask 3. They are, who do you think is going to be the next Monsterverse villain? What is my favorite dinosaur in the Jurassic franchise? And can I make an edit on Scorpius Rex versus Tasm Lizard? So I think, I'm not quite sure, but I think they did actually hint at Biollante being the next villain in the Monsterverse, or at least her existing. That's how I think maybe the next Monsterverse movie is going to play out. But there definitely is some other options, like, of course, Destroya, Space Godzilla, or even Baggin. But if I were to say my prediction right now, I would probably either go with Biollante or probably Baggin, because I think they will hold Destroy and Space Godzilla off for some time, especially because they did start fast with, King Ghidorah and Shimo and all this other stuff. For my favorite dinosaur, of course, I would have to give it to the Indominus Rex. And while I'm at it, I will actually mention that other than Blue, because I think Blue is the best written dinosaur in the series, I would say that the Indominus Rex might actually be the best written dinosaur in the whole entire franchise. Yes, I know there's Rexy, but me personally, I just like the Indominus much more than Rexy because of her villainous just attitude and the design. It is amazing. And for the final question, I would have to say maybe for right now. Next question comes from Luis Lopez, and they say, congrats on hitting 60K and expanding your horizons. Thank you. What is your favorite movie, series, and franchise that you have featured in your edits? I would have to say that in terms of my favorite movie that I have featured on the channel, it would have to go to Where the Wild Things Are. In terms of a series, Dragon Ball, and a franchise, of course, I mentioned it earlier, Lord of the Rings. All great pieces of fiction, especially Where the Wild Things Are. Great movie. Very, 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 very underrated movie. Alrighty, next question is from Zakio Gamer. And they ask, which Transformers movie do I like the most, including animated ones and cinematic? Well, I'm gonna have to go with live action, and that one is Bumblebee. I really like Haley Steinfeld. John Cena did a great job, and Dropkick and Shatter were very, very good villains. Fit the narrative perfectly. And on top of all that, I think that this Bumblebee that we have now is actually better than the Bayverse one. I know, not as badass, but I think as a character, this one we have currently is very, very strong. All right, we're nearing the end here, and the next question comes from PXSH. And they have 4, and they are, what is my favorite verses? What's my editing process? Do I speak Spanish? And the last one says, and I am Maratone of City Edits. So for my favorite verses, I assume you mean matchup, and for right now, it has to stay King Kong versus the Indominus Rex. I think that matchup can go either way, and I love to see everybody's opinions on it, and I don't think that we'll ever get a definitive answer. But in my opinion, King Kong does win. In terms of my editing process, just for now, I will leave that open-ended because I might make a video on that in the future. And for your final question, no, I do not speak Spanish, although a lot of members in my family do. Next question is from Gazora Edits, and they asked, when did I find out about All Light Motion? Are you planning on making an edit series where you do requests? Are you ever going to bring back non-kaiju characters like Kai, Death, or Spider-Man? Well, to answer the last 2 questions, both of them are probably no, but we'll see on the last one, maybe, maybe not. And I don't know exactly when I found out about All Light Motion, although I do remember that it was shortly after finding out about Kapka. Thank you, Gazora, and on to the next question. Alright, second to last question is from Nefastus, and they say, congrats on 60K, thank you. Who or what inspired you to do Whis, and why did you choose this format? Well, I'll answer the second question as the first question has already been answered, but long story short, the reason that I chose this format is because it worked the best for me. It is partially inspired by Poofin. Pretty much, I found it simple yet effective and fun. Alright, so the last question is from Hakai or Haki Wave Edits. And they ask, who is my favorite versus YouTuber? Will I be doing another crowdsourced project? And what is my favorite editing app? Well, to start off, my favorite editing app has to go to CapCut. I just mentioned simple yet effective, and that is exactly how I would describe CapCut. In terms of me doing another crowdsourced project, we'll see. It's definitely not going to happen a whole lot more, but we will see. And for my favorite versus YouTuber, I mean, of course, it should come to no surprise. It's Godzilla Guy, aka Goji Guy. And let me just say something real quick, and I might actually put a timestamp on the video because, well, we're about to glaze a little bit, and yeah. But I get a lot of questions asking, you know, why do I like Goji Guy, or why is he my favorite YouTuber above everybody else, and so on and so forth. Well, the main reason that I like him so much is not because of any versus matchups or anything like that. It's actually because of what he did some time ago. I'm forgetting exactly when it was, but I do know it was a little bit before G-Fest. And of course, I'm talking about the situation that happened a little while ago with Kaiju Kim and a bunch of others, where they were pointing out the racism, sexism, homophobia, and just overall a lot of discrimination that happens in the community. At that time, I wasn't as big as I am now, and I still did want to say something about it because I have seen a lot of that stuff happen, but unfortunately, I just lost my nerve. I didn't want to possibly lose subscribers, and I didn't want to get unnecessary hate, so I didn't say anything. Looking back on it, I should have. But there was someone in the community that had a fairly large voice at that time and has an even bigger voice now, and of course, it's Goji Guy. Despite the possibility of him receiving tons of hate, losing tons of fans, and just overall getting slandered, he didn't care. He put his foot down and used his voice to better the community, and I'll always have respect for that. And if he's watching right now, which he might, I just want to say, and I've said it before, thank you. I said something similar earlier to another person, but I'm going to say it again because it is how I feel. And that's that there could have been a bunch of other people to make it big, and I'm glad that it was you. The what ifs are amazing, the matchups are amazing, and the messages are absolutely amazing. Keep up the fantastic work, man. And while I'm at it, I do want to mention, of course, people like Goji Chronic, Wade Willie TV, King Churros, all those other guys. They are just as awesome.